So we spent this last DVD going over some attacks that are, we're linking them back to leg locks, but we're using other attacks to set them up. So again, like I spoke about at the start of the DVD, how if you're only going for leg locks, even if you're really good at them, people will still shut you down. Like if your intentions are obvious, even if those are intentions that are really high level, you'll still get shut out. They might work initially, but guys will work out ways to sort of overcome your entries. So we need to hide entries in other positions. So what we're going to try and do with the last one is, it'll be techniques, but it'll be more conceptual. It'll be, maybe we'll attack the upper body, swing back to the lower body. Maybe we'll threaten a sweep to swing back to the leg lock. That's how we're going to set it up. So the first one, we'll start with a pretty simple one. We're going to start with threatening the guillotine, and in turn, threatening the guillotine is going to lead us into the leg lock here, right? So, let's say we're passing guard here. Like, first of all, I'll just explain that, say, what's really obvious is this one. We go for the knee cut. Everyone sees this one a mile away. We go for the knee cut, and we try and backstep into the heel hook here. Real obvious, right? You're going to have a lot of trouble getting down with good guys, and if guys are pretty good at underhook half guard, they're probably going to use like a Jedi mind trick style, and they'll turn your heel hook attempt into a back take. So we can actually do a similar entry, but we're going to set it up off something else. So I'm coming in, like I'm passing the guard around me. I'm coming in, maybe I'm 2 legs inside, watching out for their leg lock. I'm going to reach for a guillotine, and I'm going to backstep, right? Because I backstep here, because if they follow me up, if you follow me all the way up, we actually get the guillotine, right? So we've landed here, so they don't want to follow me up. They want to start moving the other way. They want to start rolling almost to the flat of their back. And we can let go of the guillotine, pick up inside the knee, and slide in to the heel hook position. So we can attack here. Maybe we want to be more controlling. We'll go to the double leg control. So again, we're passing guard here, right? I jump for a guillotine, and I fall to my hip. They don't want to follow me up. If they follow me up again, we've got this guillotine. But they're trying to move away. And in that defense, I switch from the guillotine grip to the knee. I'm still keeping the chin strap, so the threat's still there. I lift the knee, and I slide my knee under. I slide my knee real deep, so they can't turn away. They go grab the other leg before I sit back down. Or maybe we've sat up. Come back to this one. So I've gone for the guillotine. I sit back. I grab inside the knee. And I slide, right? So I keep the guillotine and I slide in a post. And from here, what I can do is sit back this direction. So it's actually maybe even a stronger finishing position. So I wrap up the leg and put the hand behind my back. And what we're doing here is we're covering the toes. We can drop our shoulders to the floor. We can lift our hips up and create a heel exposure real easy. So again, that's our first option, right? So we're taking the backstab, obvious technique, and we're turning it into a more complicated system where, as in, they have to defend the guillotine. So they have to react. If they react incorrect and come on top, coming straight into a guillotine. So they're moving away, and in that transition we're able to take essentially a backstep heel hook, but we've hidden it with the guillotine. Alright, so we'll do another attack. We'll build a strong heel hook position off of a regular attack, and like an attack that I would say not a very high percentage. So we're going to build it from a toe hold. So even from double guard pull, right? So we could be here. We can see this foot here. If I just jump on this foot, it's probably going to be a pretty low percentage attack, because in my mind, just like a heel hook, for me to get the toe hold, I want strong hip control so they can't roll out, and so that I can actually apply strong pressure into the joint itself. So I consider heel hooks the same as, toe holds the same as heel hooks. But we're going to attack this foot, we're going to link it back to an inside heel hook. So maybe we're both trying our leg lock game here, but maybe we can't get a dominant inside position. So what I'm going to do, I'll shoot for the toe hold, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fall to my hip and backstep. And that's even better. Even better, they try and kick that off. That's really giving you this leg control. From here, I would sit in and sit back to our bar. You can put weight on them, but what's important is we sit back. So when we attack this toe hold, We want to keep our right leg inside. We want to get good at rolling up onto our shoulder and shooting our left leg. And that knee is really, it's going to scoop up this leg. So it doesn't just sit behind as a block, it scoops up. Just like we did with the sort of that reverse X half butterfly tap. The knee doesn't come behind, it comes behind and picks up the leg. So we go for the toe hold here. I wouldn't actually recommend staying on the toe hold here. Good guys are going to take your back out of here. You're exposing the back to it, right? So as soon as we go for this toe hold, I want to scoop that leg up. So we want to pick this leg up with our knee. From here, I would come under the heel hooking leg, control the far leg, and try and rotate through. Again, you can even do this standing, right? So maybe we're passing guard here. Maybe they try and kick out. We pick up the leg, and we fall back through the hip. So again, a viable option. But again, just like the last one, not a great attack initially. Pretty obvious, right? If you're just catching guys with a toe hold here, that's pretty obvious. They'll kick you out. Maybe they'll give you the toe hold and use it to take you back. Guys that are good at being bowler will definitely do that. But combining it with this attack is going to increase the percentage. So we pick it up. And you can see there, defending the toe hold with a kick. If he kicks it, it makes it actually real easy to pick up that inside leg. So again, there's another more creative way to find that inside heel hook position off of an attack. It's pretty obvious and easy to beat. So we'll do another attack where we're using an initial movement, in this case the Kimura trap, and what we'll do is we'll turn a common counter into a inside heel hook, so the saddle position, right? So it'll look like this. So for those not familiar, I'll just demonstrate a Kimura trap first. So we're passing guard maybe, we secure the Kimura. So we'll do this one where they don't defend, and I roll over my shoulder, pin the arm to the hip, start to come in, and there's a number of attacks we can do from that. We take the back, we can do an arm bar, obviously we do a Kimura, reverse triangle. It's actually a really, really good position. Something I'll look for a lot, especially in submission only, where we can take risks where we're not losing points. But in this case, what's a common thing is when I grab the Kimura and go to roll, they trap my leg. Obviously we could kick this out, but sometimes maybe we want to change up the attack. So what I would do here is, again, I'm going to plant this foot on the floor, because as you can see, that allows me to jump my hips. And for me to attack this leg, we're going to have to jump our hips to make the distance. So I make this transition quick too. So we got the Kimura. I would let go of the Kimura with my left hand and grab the knee, slide towards it. So I'm sliding towards it, almost like I'm going to shoot this knee all the way through, but I'm not actually going to do that because that would be more knee bar position. I'm going to shoot it through and put my knee to the floor, and my left knee is slamming hard behind their knee. And we can come up to our knees here. We can start to attack the heel hook from this position, or we could pick up the second leg, sit on them, fall back to our other hip, and secure the saddle position. And then from there we could do our regular attacks we've been working on earlier. So again, we're passing, we come through for the Kimura, they trap our leg, here. And again, you could just kick out, but it could be a battle here. Maybe we want to go for an easier option, or maybe because the inside heel hook, like it's one of those submissions like that just about everyone's going to tap to. So a choke everyone's going to tap to, everyone has to tap to, they go to sleep. Inside heel hook, for me, most catastrophic submission. So maybe we're just using this as a bait to set up the inside heel hook because we're rolling against a real tough guy. Maybe like AJ Agazam, he hasn't tapped much. So maybe we need to use this as a diversion to set up the inside, right? So we've landed here, and again, I'm planting my left foot so I can lift my hips. I'm going to keep the Kimura sort of pressure with this right hand alone. I can angle it in. So I want to make him think the arm's trapped for as long as possible, but I want to reach my left hand to the knee and I want to jump all the way over them. Almost like I'm going to shoot my knee through, but at the last minute, that knee goes to the floor, and this knee, my left knee, tucks behind the knee here. We come up to our knees. Again, here you could finish the heel hook, right? So I'll demonstrate that. I would wrap the inside heel hook leg up, put the hand behind the back, fall to the shoulder, lift the hips and attack. Or if we're here, maybe we prefer a more slow, methodical control. We pick up the second leg, we sit up, sit on them, fall to our butt, and turn our knee to the floor, and we've got the saddle. So one more time. Trying to find, switch up us, we got the Kimura, we gotta roll through, they trap the leg. Again, we let go with the left hand, we plant our left foot on the floor, grab their left knee, slide up onto them, knee to the floor, knee behind their knee. We could finish here, hand behind the back, cup the heel and finish, real strong position, probably a slightly more advanced position. Then we pick up, or we can pick up the outside, and we sit on them, sit to our butt, bring our inside knee to the floor, lock up the body triangle, and from there we can finish the attacks we worked on from this type of position. Alright, so look at some entries to leg lock positions from the closed guard. This is sort of very much reaction based, so the initial setup is going to lead to, depending on what your opponent does, a number of different leg entanglements, right? But the important part here is that, just following on from the other techniques, very few people are going to expect a leg lock from closed guard, so it is quite a good position to set things up. I still love using the closed guard just to slow things down, so if I can get to the closed guard, I'll still look for upper body attacks, maybe a Kimura, maybe a guillotine, and this is when they posture up. So in terms of, obviously we want, people are generally going to posture up from closed guard because that's how, probably, I think, the highest percentage way of breaking the closed guard. Posture up, stand up. So if people are low, I'd be trying to force guillotines, trying to get to posture up, hands on the hips, and that's what we're going to look for, these leg entanglements. So we're in the closed guard, right? They're postured up, generally pretty safe position. What we're going to do, we're going to underhook the leg. So sometimes it can be hard to make space, so we want to shift our hips. So I shift my hips to make space to underhook the leg. And in this case, I'm not grabbing the leg with my hands, I'm grabbing it with my wrist. So if you've done some wrestling, a lot of people will say, hanging onto the leg with the wrist itself is going to be a much tighter grip. So I try to adapt that from wrestling rather than just grab with the hand. If I grab with the hand, pretty weak grip. If I grab with the wrist, it's actually going to be much stronger. So we open our legs and we pull the same side knee to the floor. So I pull this one open all the way through. From here, it really depends on what my opponent does. We can enter the single leg X from here if I can put that foot through and we bring our leg under. So we can still go to the single leg X. Or, so we open the legs, we come down here. Sometimes I'll roll over the top, but in a way, a lot of people expect a knee bar. We're not going for a knee bar here, we're going for an inside heel hook. So kick this leg straight, or grab the toes, or pull the toes up and put it in my pocket and roll through. And as we roll through, we can attack the heel hook from here. So again, we're in closed guard, that posture, make space with the hips, underhook the leg with the wrist, open the legs, and pull the knee to the floor. So again, like sometimes if my opponent tries to move away, that's going to give me a good single leg X. So they're trying to run that way. That'll give me a good single leg X. From there, obviously, we can attack the heel hook. Underhook, open, knee to the floor. From here, sometimes I can kick through, and I can pull my knee all the way under here to create this outside position to attack the heel hook too. So again, depending on what your opponent does, can lead to different reactions, but a good starting position is just underhook the leg with the wrist, open, pull your knee to the floor. So we pull that knee to the floor and then we really can gauge what our opponent wants to do from here. So again, a number of different options. For me personally, I really like to attack the inside heel hook on the far side. So I bring my knee to my chest, kick through, roll up into the shoulders. I reach for the toes, pull it into the pocket, block the hip with our right foot, and we can attack here. So we change the angle on the 1 2. So knee to the floor, we kick through, I grab the toes here, so right around the foot I lift it, I put my knee underneath, and we block with our foot on the far side to make the transition to the heel hook. And here again, hip pressure, and bring the heel to your center line. Alright, so we'll look at some sort of staggered attacks from bottom now. So we did the closed guard, we did some from top where we were using other attacks to set up the leg locks. Now we're gonna attack from sort of a knee shield, like, but consider this pretty loose, right? You can do this from half butterfly, from knee shield, from that sort of reverse X butterfly. So all these transitions really work well together, no matter the position you're in. And same with these upper body attacks, right? So sometimes when I'm playing knee shield and my opponent is aware that I like to attack the legs, he stays real low. Stays low, maybe he's blocking with the head, he's blocking me with the arm, maybe I'm trying to reach, he keeps cross-facing, I have to clear that. So my path to the legs is blocked. So what I'll do is I'll threaten upper body attacks. And to be honest, if I attack the Kimura from here, it's not a high percentage move, just like what we're doing in the first set of these attacks of this DVD. But when I attack the Kimura, obviously they have to respect it. And in that respect, in the defense, they posture up and try and rip their arm out. So say if we're playing around here, I secure the Kimura, he rips his arm out to defend it, right? But when his posture is high, we can easily transition to the leg here. And whether that be a wrist grip, or if you want an extra strong grip, we want a gable. So we grab a gable grip here. And what I'm going to do in this particular scenario is I'll drag my knee across, come onto my shoulder, and tuck my foot under. So up to here. You see, if you can see my right foot, I probably would leave it there. I mean, there's a slim chance I'll get a toe hold or something to attack it, right? So I'll tuck it under. And then what I'm going to do with my left foot is plant that on the floor and rotate around to a single leg X. And this is really good. If they turn away like this, I'll turn into them and attack an inside heel hook. So you can see here, I've just crossed my feet as if it was a closed guard and that's below the hip. I could even, for people with long legs, you can even go around the hip here. So that's going to have real good control. And again, anytime we cross our legs like this, we're pulling the feet to the butt so I can apply hip pressure. So even without the heel, you can see my hips are moving. Even here, I can pull my hips in. So that's real important to this heel hook, and it means the heel hook will come on super quick. So another attack I do from here, and not a high percentage attack, but it's a threat they have to respect, right? If their head's real low here, maybe I can't reach the Kimura. This head will sometimes block my shoulder and the Kimura is hard. I'll just grab a chin strap, so I'll try and tuck their head, and I'll grab their chin. So you can see the grip I got here. And what I'll do, like, this is not a finishing position. You're not going to finish guys. But again, they're going to have to respect it. I'll use my chest to sort of crush their head, and they'll rip their head out. And that's how we get to the leg. So again, in this particular scenario, I'm using my right hand to push their weight over the top of me as I invert up. From here, just like we did in the last move from closed guard, we could step all the way through, grab the foot, put it in our knee and roll through. And it's going to be the same finishing position. But again, if we come back, so imagine we've attacked the guillotine, they rip their head out, we divert their weight over, we tuck our foot, and again, if their weight's all the way over here, perfect. Drag this foot past, turn into them, secure the feet, and attack the inside heel hook. So those are two sort of simple grips. Sometimes if guys have their weight low, I'll start grabbing an overhook and I'll be threatening them in terms of like a triangle choke. So I'll be trying to block their hand, shoot the triangle. So when I'm doing this again, one way they get out of that is to posture out. So they try to pull up and I'm trying to keep the overhook. So it's in that transition when they're high, we swing back through for the legs. And again, here you guys can do either of the two. So we can come up, we can step through, we can pummel our foot under. Another thing we can do here is if we've got the foot under, but maybe they're real powerful with this leg, but they leave this close. So I'll take my inside leg out and I'll throw my hips back at this leg and put my knee behind that knee, and we can set up the saddle here and attack the heel. So again, this one's a bit more complicated, but it definitely still comes up. You want to be real comfortable balancing on your shoulder. But again, it's easier to balance because we're using their body, like I'm pulling myself up. So I'm not just like floating in the air here. So maybe we'll try to get the overhook here. He becomes aware of that, pulls his posture back. We come back through, grab a gable, we start to roll up, and maybe it doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to get the single leg X. So I take my inside foot out, I'm still on my shoulder, and now what's important here is I throw my hips at this leg. Just like we did with the reverse X half butterfly entry. I don't just reach with my knee like that. I'm going to get stacked. I throw my hip And now my knee is real deep behind this leg, and we've got double leg control, so we can bring our knee in, pull them over. We've got this double leg control, or sometimes we land at such a good angle, we get the heel hook straight away. So we'll look at that from a couple different angles. So yeah, maybe we're attacking the overhook, the posture, gable, we roll up, tuck our foot in, and then we take our other leg out, and we throw our hips at that knee. So not just our leg, so not just our knee, we throw our entire hips out, and we turn our hips to the sky. Double leg control, or sometimes we can come straight to the heel hook. So yeah, we're going overhook, good posture. Roll up, tuck the foot in. I'm framing with this top knee. This top knee's not loose. I frame to pull my leg out. I shoot my hips back in, and I bring my knee to my chest. If we don't bring the knee to the chest, I'm not going to tip them over. So I'm really bringing that in, and I tip my hips to the sky. Double leg control, or straight into the heel hook. So that last option is a bit more intricate than the first two, but it's still a viable option. When we get good at attacking the first two, people start to see those coming a bit more, start to block it, we have to be more creative. And it just shows you with one grip, we can attack a few options. We can attack the outside and the inside on the far side, the side with the grip, or we can trick them and we can come back to the inside on this side. Alright, so we'll do one more attack from the knee shield, and this is an attack I actually only implemented recently for the first time in competition. If you look at my match with Bob Faraz in Australia at Grappling Industries, he came up with an interesting defense. So he anticipated what was coming from the knee shield, and what he did was he actually put his knees together. So once I dragged the leg out, I couldn't get the leg back in. So essentially he's blocking my saddle attack, he's blocking my single leg X attack. But I tried something creative to counter that, and I just went around both legs. But there's a couple details here to make this work, right? The way we come around the legs. So what I did was, I postured and pulled my leg out, and he kept his legs together, right? So what we want to do here is I'm keeping the leg, I'm going to throw my hips at my opponent, and I threw my knee deeply behind this knee. So I shoot my hips in, and you see the angle of my hips here. This knee's tight behind the knees. Crossing the feet, already doing a good defense. And what I did was, I turned in and crossed the feet around the hips here. I feed this hand deeper, so we still keep the gable grip. I grab behind the knee, I feed it in to strip these grip here, and we can come straight on the heel hook. But you can see, I can still finish the heel hook even with both legs in, right? I've got to keep a tight pinch, bring my feet to my butt, because I can still elevate hip pressure. If we can elevate hip pressure, we can break the knee. So we combine the grip, and we apply pressure in, and we'll get the same finish. So we'll show you a different angle. We don't just shoot our legs at them, we got to swing our hips. So the knee that comes behind their knee has really got to rip in behind their knees to sort of shift them off balance here. So we came up, pull that leg out, keep these knees together. I shoot my hips and I shoot this knee deep. So my knee's tied in behind here. You can even use the ground to give you a bit more lift. I pull, cross, and I feed this hand deeper. I'll unlock my feet so you can see, right? I don't want to pull this hand out. I pull this hand out, they'll pinch their knees together. And now we have to break the grip again. So we were here. So we were here. We want to feed our elbow deep. And once our elbow's deep, we want to drag back to strip that grip and straight away catch the heel. Obviously my feet are uncrossed here for demonstration, but it would be tightly crossed together. And when we bring them crossed together, bring our feet to our butt, we can create a bridging pressure with the hip. We'll do one more angle. So get your knees together. I go around both. And I bring this knee tight. Cross the feet. We want to feed elbow deep. And then we'll drag our elbow back down towards the feet. Catch the heel. Again, don't be loose with your feet. You want to be bringing bridging pressure in. So we can get it actually with one hand there. Lots of bridging pressure on that one. But that's a creative response to that was one of the first times I had to deal with that defense, which was bring the knees together. Usually I wouldn't deal with that specific defense because your base is off and you'll be easy to sweep. But that particular match with submission only, so obviously he risked giving up the sweep, giving up dominant position to defend the heel hook. So we're going to do a 50-50 attack now. We'll do this one because it's within the 50-50 there is, you guys would have seen, there's Herbo Santos or Gabriages, they have a knee bar they do from the 50-50 position, really effective knee bar. But actually you can flow through that position and end up with the inside heel hook. So that's something I like to think about. Wherever we've got a knee bar, we've got a pretty good opportunity at a heel hook position, whether that be outside or inside. So for this 50-50 one, right? Generally, it is a bad idea to stand up from 50-50 or to come up, right? Because it's really easy, if I stand up, it's really easy for them to tip the knee and expose the heel. It's hard for me to keep my weight on the ground, right? So, I mean, we're sort of standing up here, but not quite. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come into like a fly kick position. So I'm gonna extend my right leg and I'm gonna blade away here. Here it's hard for them to tip and expose the heel. If I was standing square, really easy for them to swing their knees. And you see how I lift the heel off the ground? But when we're in this bladed position, much safer, much harder for them, right? What we want to do from here, I'm going to sit into them. I'm going to tuck my foot this way. So we sit and we tuck our foot. So I'm hiding the heel here still. I'm going to sit on top of them here and start to rotate through. I really sit on top here. So for the guys that haven't seen the style of knee bar I'm talking about, what they do here is they sit and they apply lots of pressure into this knee, and when the person pushes back, they swing through and take an overhook knee bar here. A bit of a pop. It's okay. So we're 50-50. So we're going to turn towards the side we're going to stand up on, extend the leg, and put the side of the foot on the ground. So here's also a pretty stable position if you want to stay on top. Maybe you're doing a tournament with heel hooks and points in, this is quite a stable spot. So now we're going to tuck our foot and start to sit on them. And I start to really lean on them here. I'm sitting, and now we still look for the same reaction. We want them to push, right? But when we sit, I want you to sit all the way through. Here, we're in the same position we did earlier. We can grab the top leg, swing our knee to the floor, and we're in the saddle. So essentially, we're doing the same move as that knee bar, but we're sitting further through. So we're in 50-50, turn the way we want to sit up. We can have almost a pit stop here. We tuck this foot and lean into them as you tuck it. We can hold the knee, we start to rotate. I sit on them. Sometimes you can really stack them up to cause reaction, they push. And then I swing all the way through. Grab the leg, post on the floor, rotate knee to the floor, and we got the overhook position where we can attack the inside heel hook. But again, that one's very, very reaction based. Sometimes guys are aware and they're not going to push that leg. So don't be impatient with that position. Really try and stay heavy on them there. Like you are, essentially, I mean, if we're in a points tournament, if you're on top here, you're probably in a better position. Generally, guys will eventually look for the reaction to push, and when they push, it's easier to rotate. Sometimes you can still rotate without the push, so you can still slightly look for that. But again, you'll be patient in that position, and when you spin all the way through, I believe personally that the inside heel hook is going to be a much better finishing position than the knee bar. The knee bar will come on quick, but sometimes you watch high level matches, guys, I'm going to tap the straight ankle locks, I'm going to tap the knee bars. So for me, I'd rather make a little bit more movement, and we're in a good position to finish the inside heel hook. We're back in the saddle essentially. Alright, so now we'll add in at the end, we'll add in an attack we can do from stand up. I like the reverse scissor takedown, so you guys would have seen that, but I think it's a very high risk move. I think it's, you see a lot of guys get injured. I personally, I don't like the idea of injuring my opponent in that way. Obviously, I mean, I'm not judging anyone that does it, but it is a high risk move, so high risk moves are hard to train, and you especially don't want to damage your training partners, right? So I'll show a setup to an inside heel hook from stand up, right? So when your opponent has a necktie, we're going to turn this into like a Russian tie. So I'm going to use my shoulder. I grab the wrist, grab the arm, and I use my shoulder to shut that off. We're grabbing under the armpit, controlling the wrist, and I got my shoulder behind their shoulder here. So we got a pretty good control from here. So the move a lot of people think you're going to do, and this is an option here, is we step in and we do like a judo throw to get them to post their hands on the mat to take their back here, right? But we can mix it up and we can attack this leg. So again, we grab the wrist, grab the armpit, and we use our shoulder to hit that grip off. I grab deep, and I got my shoulder in the back of their shoulder. I don't want it too low. It's going to be a weak position, so we want to be really far behind the shoulder. So I step in like I'm going to do the throw, but instead I switch the armpit grip to below the knee, I post, and we roll through. And we end up in the saddle position. So we could either attack the heel hook straight away, we could grab a control position on the toes, or if this leg was in reach, we could grab a straight ankle lock. So we'll do that one a few times. So you got the necktie, wrist, armpit, use our shoulder to shuck it off. You can see my shoulder's firmly behind that shoulder. It's not on the tricep here. So we're gonna hop in. Hop, I pretend like I'm gonna go for the judo throw, but I switch to behind the knee, and I roll through. They have to roll it up here, or the pressure's gonna hurt. So obviously we go straight to the heel hook. We could go straight to toe control, or if the leg's within reach, we go straight to a double leg, sort of saddle control. So do it one more time. And this is a good one, especially when you practice with training partners. If you do go for the first one a lot, they anticipate that, they're ready for that, and we just roll through for the leg lock. Necktie, wrist, armpit, we shuck in, shoulders behind their shoulder, hop in, but switch to the knee. And again, with all our options from here, so we can attack the heel straight away. Another important thing is when I roll through, I'm grabbing the knee with my wrist and not just my hand. So we'll go, shuck. When I swing, I grab deep. So I'm grabbing deep behind the knee. If I grab with my hand, it slips off sometimes, right? So to enter it, right? So here's a safe option to attack the inside heel hook from standing using wrestling style ties. I believe it's called the Russian tie. You have to forgive me, I'm Australian, we have no wrestling in Australia, but again, I think a safe option, safe for your training partner. Also, I mean, you've got the Imanari roll. Imanari roll that's a crazy move, that's not for everyone. I think this is a move everyone's capable of. You can do a Russian tie, and you can do a forward roll. You're in a very good position to attack that heel. Alright, so the last position we're going to do is sort of Delahiva full-up position, but I'll try and show some different options from that, right? And if you watch my match with Leandro Lowe, I used to limit his speed because, I mean, Nogi, it already is difficult to slow people down, especially someone as good as Leandro, who I believe probably one of the best guard passes in the game, right? So the Delahiva full-up, so the Delahiva position is here. And for me, I believe that Nogi Delahiva is probably it's a pretty weak position, it's a pretty difficult position to make work. Some guys make it work by turning it into an underhook here. And we could do that as well, so we could enter the single leg X position with the underhook. What we do for that one is we reach elbow deep, grab the shin, and we switch our foot from here, because we could get leg drag, right? We switch our foot from here to under the knee, and we stretch them out. Once their weight's over there, it's quite easy to swing this leg under to attack the single leg X, and we could go heel hooks here. We could attack a number of things. But specifically for Leandro, I wanted a stronger grip to do a similar attack. So what I did, I turned this into a foot-lock grip, right? But to get the leverage, I have to lift my hips off the ground. So this right foot plants against the hips, and I lift my hips to reach elbow deep here. Keep my hips off the ground, and bring my wrist back through in front of my hip. So just so you guys can see, my hand is on my hip like this, while the Delahiva hook's still in. So we're playing the Delahiva here, reach elbow deep and lift our hips. Once our hips are off the ground, pummel our hand in and drop your hips back. But again, this position has the same vulnerabilities as underhook Delahiva. We are exposed to a leg drag pass. And if they do get the leg drag, our own hand stuck, so it's a really terrible position. So we can use we switch from the top to under the knee, and we stretch them out. So we can stretch them out that way, and this foot can come over, pummel in, and from here we can attack our heel hooks, right? So we're here. So regular De La Riva, we reach elbow deep and I grab my hamstring. It's sort of like a pit stop position. Once I hit here, lift the hips and pummel it through. So if you guys can see that transition, we got the hamstring, my hips lift and they circle in a bit. The hand comes through to the hip and then we drop back. And this is a pretty good control here, but remember we want to hook the knee straight away. Because if I leave this here, they throw it to the side and we end up in a horrible position with our hand trapped. Underhook and stretch them out here. We swing this leg over, we can plant it on the hip, and then we're at a good angle to start attacking some heel hooks here. And obviously we could do the same stuff we were doing earlier, or could switch it through to the other side. We'll shoot the De La Riva full lock finish as well. I did try this on the end but slim to zero chance that that guy's going to tap to any sort of straight ankle lock pressure. So what we want to do, we want to get our De La Riva full lock position, but instead this time when we hook, I unhook the De La Riva and I try and drop them onto their hip here. So I stretch them out and you can see the heavy pressure on the knee, tips them to the floor. And what we want to do straight away is replace the De La Riva hook in. So I plant my foot on the floor and I hook the De La Riva hook back. We keep our foot tucked here under their knee, our right foot, because again we could get this throwing pass. We don't want to be out here, we want this tucked. And then we just finish the same way we would a straight ankle lock. So in that respect, I'm arching, and the beauty about this position is because we've got the De La Riva hook still in for the foot lock, they can't extend their leg to relieve the pressure. So the typical putting the boot on to relieve the straight ankle lock pressure is impossible from this angle. So again, we finish the same way. I will say for that one, be careful with your partner's knees. You do come down at a pretty vicious angle here. So we'll do that from this angle. So we've got De La Riva. We're going to switch to elbow deep, foot on the hamstring to elevate and turn in. This makes space for us to bring our hand through in front of our hip here. We're going to hook under the knee. So again, we can pressure that way. If we wanted to get the single leg axe or the heel hook position. If we want to tip them, just stretch and apply pressure into their knee. And now tip. Here, we want to bounce up to replace the De La Riva hook. So you can see my hooks come back in. If my hook wasn't in, they could straighten their leg, but because my hook's in, they can't straighten the leg. This means the foot lock's going to come on much quicker. You could probably finish it with one hand, or you could really connect the two to apply more force in. But again, hip pressure, we're arching away, and we're applying pressure straight into the ankle. So that's a good strong position there. It's also a good position to slow someone down, which is a strategy I use. It's a good position to attack the straight ankle locks, and it's IBJJF legal. We can also, off both of those De La Riva guards, we can enter the single leg axe, which is also IBJJF legal, but again, we're getting into strong heel hooking positions there. Alright, we'll throw in the flying triangle finish on Murillo, right? I will say, obviously it's not a leg lock, but the leg lock did set up the top position. So my threat to his legs, he conceded the sweep. It wasn't a real sweep because we were in the no points period. So my entry was stuffed by him just conceding and sitting, right? And when I went to pass his guard, obviously Murillo's amazing guard passer, amazing guard also. He was trying to play shin on shin. So he had this hook and grip here. So I started controlling the wrist initially, right? And the way I control the wrist is important too. I don't just grab the wrist. I grab with my middle finger, my thumb, right between the bones here. And for extra control, I'm using my palm to keep the wrist bent. Much harder for them to strip that grip, so it has a very strong grip there. And what Murillo did, because my base was back, I was trying to pass, but I would have rather play guard. Murillo tried to come up with a single leg, right? As soon as he comes up, we'll grab it up overhook. And what we're doing, we'll try and recreate as best we can, but I'll try and go over the details that led to the triangle, right? So it's the wrist control, it's the armpit control, and it's the way you shoot the flying triangle. I'm not shooting with this leg first. If I shoot with this leg first, that doesn't break his posture as well as the right leg, the underhook leg. And that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but when you shoot with the left leg, they can still look up. When I shoot with the right leg from here, I shoot it deep and it's heavy on their back. Now they're trying to posture up, very difficult, right? And then we shoot the left leg. If I shot the left leg first and they posture up here, it's harder for me to keep them down, right? But if we have this angle here, and that's with knee pressure and they try and posture up, Very difficult, right? It's the same with an omoplata. You want heavy knee pressure before you make the transition. We'll do it one more time. So we're trying to fast playing shin on shin. I grabbed that wrist control first. So even before he came up, I had the wrist. I grab the overhook. I can pull the overhook up, so I pull it high to strip that grip he had here. And I shoot with the right leg first. And then we shoot the left. But we'll go over the finish right now, because I believe a lot of people mess up how to finish the triangle choke, and they're too concerned with dragging the arm across, right? So let's say we land here. We've got our opponent in this position. And this again is the same way I finish gorilla, right? For me, the most important thing here is first posture control. You want to keep that posture broken, but it's also a knee pinch, right? Because my leg is going to choke the right side of his neck, but his shoulder chokes the other side. So you see there's a gap here. So we want to be pinching our knees together. We want this gap taken away here, right? And then we reach for the shin. We keep the knee pressure of our right knee throughout the entire transition. I'm never loose. This is the biggest mistake people make. They put the foot on the hip and they relieve this pressure. They think it's all with this leg. And you can see there's a gap here, and then they try and throw this leg. But guys with big shoulders, we're probably not going to get the finish, right? So we keep the knee pinch the entire time. I grab the shin. If you guys watch, this knee will stay tight. So it's tight, tight, tight. I cut the angle, it stays tight. And when I place it over the shin, the knee follows the shoulder. So it passes to keep the gap, and we should get the finish pretty quick here. If I let the shoulder go, so like if I cut the angle and I throw my leg out to throw it over, even if I don't throw it out very far, their shoulder comes away from their neck, right? So if I go here, the tap's going to be much harder than if we maintain this pressure the whole way through. So this is complete compression, and I pass the knee over. Again, some final touches to finish the triangle. We want to point, we don't want to point the toes, we want our feet up, and we also, to add pressure, start to turn our top leg out. You can see that it's going to take the space away here. So if you guys look without someone in there. So pointed toes, we go to the space, we turn our feet up, activates the right muscles, and then to make the gap smaller again, I turn this top leg out. You see how that takes the space away? So we don't want to be finishing here, like so I know I've seen some weird triangles where they're grabbing here. This is actually making more space. This top leg wants to flare. So we're going to activate the toes, flare out. That's how we get the finish, and that's how you get the finish without having to drag your arm across. So just remember, constant pressure, constant knee pinch pressure, and especially when you transition to the foot over